Okay, how's it guys? Today I just wanna go through PS4 which I transplanted from one console from a dead motherboard to a working motherboard to a working motherboard, so fully working motherboard with a faulty APU. So if you have a faulty APU, which means it's written off unless you replace that here, the APU itself, BIOS, and syscon plus the ROM. So this is the ROM PCB. You put it in that way. So it's a ROM PCB. That's only the ROM PCB. But the entire PCB is not really important. What's important is it's that ROM key, which is a Renesas chip, I guess. So that that four elements is it's important. That makes a console feel. Without, if any of this is missing, your console won't work. You're gonna get, it might work while there's a software loaded on it, because the software is loaded. Once a hard drive is removed and you need to reload software, it just won't reload. If this is missing or replaced. So meaning if you hard swap your ROM out, but nevertheless that's none of that's something else. But like I said, all this needs to go together. If any of this dies, your console is it's dead. So however, this might die. If any of this die, you need to replace this entire set needs to go on a working motherboard. So what I had, just put it like this. So this is the board. I took the APU off, I put the syscon off, I took the BIOS off. So that is on the motherboard. You have to remove it from the motherboard and install it by a new motherboard, or not new, a working motherboard. So this motherboard had not the faulty APU. This motherboard had a working APU, but it had a faulty 1.1 volt. So I've tried fixing it. So I replaced the regulator there. It's basically it's a 1.1. Basically it's intermittent. It comes and goes. So this motherboard is tough. It's never gonna work again. But the APU, the syscon, and all this works on it. So then I went over, put it onto a motherboard with a faulty APU, which I can say this is a faulty APU. This alone is a faulty APU. There was a glitch on the display, so there was like a graphic issue. It's a distorting image. So this APU is faulty. It will never work again. But that motherboard is a good motherboard, which this one have a motherboard issue. So just take all those components and put it onto the other motherboard. And yeah, to just take it here. Cool. So there you can see the PS4 console on. This is after the work been done. There's the APU of the old motherboard. So APU of the old motherboard. This APU doesn't work. The motherboard for the APU works. There's the BIOS. There's a syscon. There's a ROM PCB. All this goes together. This is a faulty unit. This faulty unit. This is the faulty motherboard where I took all the components off. The APU, the syscon, the BIOS. So this is after taking this to a brand new motherboard. This is the result I got. I got really up and running board. We can see on the display as well. I'm just gonna open FIFA 19. Yeah, it's fine. Cool, that's loading. While that's loading, so how I do this, I have a rework station which I use to take off the APU. Let's go back to this one here. Yeah, so basically I use a rework station to remove a APU, and that you can see is tiny little poles, and then just show some other things here. So I go, yeah, there you can see this is a previous job I did where it's just some that's why the console was stuck on a blue light of death, so it just pulses on blue. And so basically, what you do, you remove the APU, you put new solder balls, and then you put the APU back. I just some videos I'm showing of not videos. There's a machine I'm using. So yeah, it's a you call it a rework station. So this is a machine I use to remove the APU, and yeah, that is yeah. So I use a rework station with the profile to remove APU. Then from there I clean it up and put it back onto the motherboard, and with the new brand new solder balls on underneath the APU, you get the successful boot basically. Let's see what another more photos. Yeah, there you can see this is a 360 APU. Um, so yeah, so basically you can remove this, put new solder balls. So what's happened, there's lead free solder underneath APU, so that basically cracks over time. So when it cracks, you lose connection to your system, which is your RAMs, your south bridge, your handle chip. That's I'm talking about the 360. But you lose your console doesn't properly communicate with the rest of the components on a motherboard. So that's when you get that's where you get to come in with the reball. But anyway, let me go back here. That's nicely up and running. And there you can see it's a working console. Yeah, I think that's the end of it. It's what I call a successful transplant from one board to other. I had one faulty motherboard, and I have one faulty APU. You combine the two, you can get again a successful console, fully working console. Cool. Thank you for watching.